we also like to highlight good, young, and exciting players. And what better way to do that than putting together my Flippin Bats all 25 and under team. Now, this will be something that I will keep going, and we'll have guys that age out, and we'll go from there. But for now, we're going to go through each position, my all 25 and under team. Now, the criteria, if you weren't able to figure it out to this point, is simple. You just got to be 25 and under, and you can be on this list. So where do we want to start? Are we starting with catcher?
Yeah, let's start with catcher.
All right. Catcher on my all 25 and under team. The only one on this list that hasn't yet played in the big leagues. Adley Rutschman. I'm a big believer in this guy. He would be making a difference at the big league level right now if it wasn't for the injury that he had to start the year. He's coming, and he's coming fast. And he's been a top prospect in baseball for a couple of years now. Switch hitting, catcher, good defense, power. He's the full package. So when I look at the catcher position, I think this is a clear cut and dry one, even though he hasn't played in the big leagues. It's Adley Rutschman.
All right, over to first base. This is another pretty easy one.
First base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You're right. This is an easy one. Almost won MVP last year. If it wasn't for one of the most incredible seasons that we have ever seen in an unprecedented season from Shohei Ohtani, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would have won the MVP award. He is on this team easily. This was a no-brainer. Vladdy Jr., first base.
Moving over to second base. Friend of the pod, Jazz Chisholm Jr.
Friend of the pod. Just had him on recently. If you haven't listened to his episode, I'm not just saying this. If you haven't listened to Jazz Chisholm's episode, go back and listen to it. He is a brilliant baseball mind. It is so fun hearing him talk about baseball, and his play on the field speaks for himself. So we talked about all of that. But he is really young. He is really exciting. And on top of that, he is really, really good. He is my second baseman on my all 25 and under team.
Heading over to third base, Austin Riley. Got to see him live and in person last year for the World Series.
That's right.
He
World
delivered.
Series champion Austin Riley is the third baseman. So he's probably, I think he's going to be the first one to age out of this team. He is 25, still qualifies, put up MVP-like numbers last year, was getting MVP votes. Austin Riley is fantastic. I like him a lot. I really like what he does for the Atlanta Braves. I like how much his defense has improved. I like, when he first came up and made his debut and took the world by storm, he struggled for a little bit after that. And then he came back last year and proved, no, that was who I was. That was who I am. And he is an MVP caliber player, and he is 25 years old, so he is able to be on this list. He's my third baseman.
Coming in at shortstop, another layup, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, this ended up being, yes, this is the answer. But Wander Franco deserves to be talked about and deserves to be in this discussion. Bo Bichette as well could potentially be in this conversation. But Fernando Tatis Jr. is the clear-cut and dry answer to this question. My all 25 and under team, shortstop, Fernando Tatis Jr. Over 40 home runs last year for him. Unfortunately, when he's on the field, because he's dealt with some injuries now in his career with his shoulder and now his wrist, when he's on the field, he's an MVP guy. He made that huge contract at the beginning in the offseason from last year, and then just went out and put up MVP numbers. He was so good. He is the guy. When you look at this show and like what embodies this show and having fun in baseball and playing it well, but playing it and having fun and being good for the game of baseball, like the name you look at, the name you go to is Fernando Tatis Jr., right?
Yeah, and I guess that's what I meant by a layup. You're talking about a guy that's been a perennial MVP candidate. The Wander Francos of the world, they're obviously ascending. They're going to be there very soon, and Wander's already extremely talented.
But he is there.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis.
We can slug Wander in as like the utility guy. He can come in, play a bunch of different positions. I think he'll be fine. Let's move over to the outfield. We're going to start with Yordan Álvarez.
Yeah, so we're going to do three outfielders, not in any particular position. First up, Yordan Álvarez. The fact that he is still he's still able to be on this team and he's still young enough is ridiculous. He's also, I have a point to make that I didn't even know I wanted to make. We need to talk more about how good Yordan Alvarez is. I feel like we just talk about him as being like, oh man, he's a good hitter. No, Yordan is one of the best hitters in baseball. Hands down, there's no way around it. He is a top hitter in Major League Baseball. At a very young age, what he's able to do, going the other way with, hitting balls in the gaps, hitting doubles the other way, hitting balls with power the other way, pulling balls 450 feet. I mean, he's incredible, and he's not just a power hitter. Yordan Alvarez is one of the best hitters in baseball, hands down, period. He could be in this discussion for all MLB team. So he was also an easy one to be on this list. First outfielder, Yordan Alvarez. Next up, outfielder, Ronald Acuna Jr. Another easy one. We just talked about it with Fernando Tatis. Like, he embodies what this show is. He embodies having fun playing baseball. Ronald Acuna Jr. in the outfield is for sure here. I love watching Ronald Acuna play. It was tough watching him go down with that injury last year. He brings so much energy, so much passion to the game. We've seen it immediately. He immediately made an impact when he came back and hit that home run, did the LeBron James celebration. LeBron tweeted about Ronald Acuna. Like, how cool is that? How good is he for the game of baseball? One, he's vital to the game. But two, he is just really, really good, really exciting. I think he has the potential to be a 40-40 guy at some point in this league. That's assuming that the Braves allow him to run as much as he can. There's a lot. When you have a guy like that, I understand the team saying, hey, pump the brakes on the bases a little bit. Don't go crazy. But he has the potential to go 40-40 in the league and be one of the few that has done it all time. So he is on this list. My last outfielder, Juan Soto. We've now been talking about Juan Soto for, it feels like 5 years in Major League Baseball, and he is still young enough to be on this list of 25 and under players. Juan Soto is, I think, the best hitter in baseball. When you're just talking about hitting, I think he's the best hitter in baseball. What he did last year, participating in the home run derby just to fix his swing, nobody does that. All we've been hearing forever was, so-and-so's not going to participate in the home run derby because he doesn't want it to mess up his swing. Juan Soto, who's one of the best hitters in baseball, participated in it just to fix his swing, and then went on to have an absolutely incredible second half of the year. Juan Soto rounds out the outfield on this top 25 and under team.
We do need to talk a little bit more about Juan Soto, though. I know I've been hitting you up the last couple of days, just being like, I keep seeing stuff on Juan Soto, and it's a hard thing with baseball with him playing in Washington now. He's not a part of a contender. What this guy is doing is just kind of unheard of. And, there's a couple tweets that I saw recently. Juan Soto and Ted Williams are the only players in modern era with 100 plus home runs, 400 walks, and 500 hits in their first 500 games. Juan Soto could be the best hitter we've ever seen.
Yeah, that is a bold statement, and it's not like out of the realm of possibility to say that. When you're talking hitting, he's putting himself in a category with only Ted Williams, and many people consider Ted Williams to be the greatest hitter of all time. And now he's doing stuff that has never been done since Ted Williams, and it's only Ted Williams that had done it. 100 plus homers, 400 plus walks, 500 plus hits in their first 500 games. That's remarkable. He is the best hitter in the game right now, and he's still really young. It is cool to be able to do that, and to be able to say what you just said. He could be the best hitter ever, and to not be like totally off base, that's pretty cool. We're putting him, he has put himself in a conversation and a category that only Ted Williams is in, who is, in many's eyes, the best hitter in baseball. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like, again, I just keep seeing random things on Juan Soto, and it's in the baseball world, it's weird. There's certain guys that get talked about a ton, and then there's some guys that deserve to be talked about a ton, but nobody talks about that often.
Yep.
And Juan Soto, to me, is one of those guys that needs more love. Let's move on to your pitcher, Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan, this year, the ace for the Minnesota Twins, comes up and nobody expects him to be as good as he is. He's the opening day starter for the Twins, and people are saying, okay, the Twins won't be very good. Who is Joe Ryan? I'll tell you who Joe Ryan is. He is an incredible pitcher. He is a stud. He has stuff that plays up. His fastball isn't the fastest in the world, but people aren't hitting him. He could very well be leader in the clubhouse for AL Rookie of the Year at this point, and he is on this list as my top starting pitcher that's 25 and under. Let's move on to closer. We'll round out this list. The closer, we'll finish the list with the closer. That's kind of fitting. Emmanuel Clase, Cleveland Guardians, throws 101 mile an hour cutters. What more do you need? Clean, cut, dry. Emmanuel Clase throwing 101 mile an hour cutters. Easy. This was an easy answer. You know what, though? I got to give some love to a guy that hasn't even gotten drafted yet. Ben Joyce, University of Tennessee, throwing 105.5 miles an hour. He very well could have been on this list. There's no criteria. He might be on this list here soon, though. But Emmanuel Clase rounds out this list. Pretty incredible when you look at it. Adley Rutschman, Vladdy Jr., Jazz Chisholm Jr., Austin Riley, Fernando Tatis Jr., Yordan Álvarez, Ronald Acuna Jr., Juan Soto, Joe Ryan, Emmanuel Clase.
This might come off as dumb. In MLB right now, this team assembled would be the best team in Major League Baseball, no questions asked.
Oh yeah. No questions asked. This would be the best. Like this lineup right there. I mean, that's an all-star lineup.
You can't hear our director in your ear.
I cannot.
He's going kind of crazy, saying there's absolutely no way the catcher hasn't even played in Major League Baseball yet.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm looking at this right here.
Are you kidding me? Adley Rutschman, one, is a big league talent. He just got hurt. I don't care if he's played in the big leagues or not. Also, bat him in the 9-hole. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about having the rest of this team. I'm not going to go through the team again because I just named them all. But there is no doubt in my mind, if this team was a team in Major League Baseball, they would easily be the best team in the game. Ronald Acuna, look at this outfield. Yordan Álvarez, Ronald Acuna, Juan Soto. Like, this is hands down the best team in baseball. They might even go undefeated. Just kidding. They wouldn't. Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.